It's Lou Masterson, and I was a Lieutenant JG while I was in swift boats and left the Navy as a lieutenant. When I was in college, I was undecided as to what I wanted to do with my life after college. So I decided to go into the military, and I selected the Navy, probably for no specific reason, but I did, and I joined earlier than graduation, so that by the time that I graduated, the Gulf of Tonkin had already occurred. There was a lot of talk about our involvement with Vietnam, and it was growing in terms of the men and material commitment that was made to Vietnam. I went into OCS in September of '64. OCS was the Navy's approach to training and then commissioning typically college graduates who were coming into the military. The source of the Navy's officer cadre would be number one, OCS, only because of numbers. Number two, the Naval Academy, and then number three, all the various other programs they had. So these were guys, and I don't think there were any gals in our program, and I'm not sure if there was such a thing as Naval OCS for women, but there were certainly no gals in our program. Seamanship, tactics, military history, naval military history, probably some things that I can't think about that I should be remembering now. But the intention was to, in roughly 120 days, give us enough information and enough knowledge to be able to put us on an assignment somewhere. Mine happened to be a very good ship, which I was very proud of serving on, but whatever the needs of the Navy were. Got my commission from OCS in Newport, Rhode Island in February of '65, and was assigned to a destroyer out of San Diego, the USS Morton, DD 948. Morton was an unusual class of destroyers in that it was the last gunship destroyer. And obviously there were rockets and guided missiles and other things that were coming on in terms of armament. So it was a very small class, and it was also a class that was not kept in service in the Navy. It came out probably 1985 or something like that. Well, my first view of the Morton was at a pier. She was alongside a pier in San Diego. Walked on board, and I think it was a Saturday or Sunday that I came on board. Met a couple of guys. Most of the people weren't there because it was a weekend. And I had no specific assignment at first. I think the idea was to let's figure out a place where this person would go. We had, if I recall correctly, 21 officers, so we had a full complement of officers. The Morton, as I said earlier, was an unusual ship. It was part of a very small class. I think there were a total of 7 or 8 ships in that class. My first full assignment was with the gunnery department. I think it was called the weapons department. And gunnery was the old name that people that had served prior to my coming there would call it. It had to do with all of the main battery, but it was changed to weapons because there were other things that other ships had, rockets and guided missiles as an example. They all fell under weapons. So that was my responsibility. And I was only on the ship for a short time, just about a year and maybe 4 months before I was ordered off after I had volunteered for Vietnam. But the Morton was a really good ship. It had a lot of good guys. I happened to run into a couple of them later in life, all successful, all very complimentary about the Morton. Unfortunately, the Morton is no longer with us. The Morton has been, first of all, sent to the Pacific Reserve Fleet, and I was there for a short time, and then it was actually scrapped from that point. So would not be possible to serve on the Morton at this point in any fashion. Was on the Morton for just about a year, and I got orders to swift boat.